Hey guys, welcome to Sedona Airport in Arizona. Something nice has happened. Dreamfoil is back. We haven't heard from him in quite a while, but he just now updated his fabulous Schweizer S300 simulation for X-Plane 12. Let's have a look. A very detailed and clean animation of all the moving parts, such as the belts driving the tail rotor transmission, the vibrating oil filter, and just have a look at that beautiful smoke out of the exhaust pipe there. As expected, this helicopter looks absolutely amazing. It comes stuffed with customization options and nice little features that you won't find on a lot of other birds for X-Plane, or any other sim for that matter. Since I already made quite a detailed review of the XP11 version of this aircraft, link in the description, I'm gonna go ahead and skip the startup procedure and take her up in the air right away. Left anti-torque pedal is the power pedal, and remember, this aircraft has no governor. Instead, it has a correlator that mechanically increases fuel flow when you raise the collective. However, you still have to manually keep rotor RPM at a sufficient level by using your twist grip throttle. If you don't have one, there's an option to install a virtual governor kit. This is my first flight in the S300 for X-Plane 11, and it feels very familiar. The aircraft has a fully articulated rotor system, so your control inputs are very direct and precise. Yet the aircraft is very stable, hanging a little bit left skid low due to translating tendency. One thing I can already say after a little bit of hover taxiing here is that the big issue I had with the S300 in X-Plane 11, where the aircraft would start to climb drastically anytime you would gain any forward speed, fortunately has been resolved. It is now very easy to control your altitude while hovering. Remember to keep an eye out for those rotor RPM. Try to keep them in the green by increasing or decreasing fuel flow by using your twist grip throttle. Unfortunately, the little plugin showing you my control inputs doesn't mirror the position of my twist grip. I could have set up a video camera, but well, I didn't. Looking at the detail of that fuel truck, this is a glorious rendition of Sedona Airport. It is a payware scenery by Xcoder, and you can get it for X-Plane 12. However, if you already own the X-Plane 11 version, the upgrade will be for free. That's very nice. Let's set it down. Very easy to control, very easy to hover, yet very dynamic. Remember to keep that left skid lower than the right one, or you will start to drift to the right. Let's try for a smooth landing, lowering the collective cautiously but gradually until we touch down with the left skid first. Remember to roll off on the throttle a little bit as you lower collective. Remember that correlator. Now this is a lot of fun, and it feels much better than the X-Plane 11 version already. Textures inside and outside are fabulous. Notice those reflections on the main panel. And I love the fact that you can manually throttle this thing. Speaking of which, this was the low RPM warning. I had to increase throttle a little bit for takeoff. That pickup is very, very well animated and programmed. It just feels so realistic. Having the helicopter lift off in a natural and realistic way is something that I miss on a lot of helicopters in MSFS. That's one of the reasons that I'm still not fully convinced of MSFS's flight modeling for helicopters. Well, Cohen Sim did a pretty good job on his MD500. Speaking of Cohen, he might release a Robinson R66 pretty soon. I'm definitely looking forward to that one. But I digress back to the Schweizer S300 by Dreamfoil in X-Plane 12. Now, if you wonder how to make use of the twist grip throttle, remember the aircraft has a correlator, so every time you raise the collective, fuel flow will be automatically increased. Vice versa, when you're lowering the collective, fuel flow will be reduced by the correlator. But you still need to make some more corrective inputs with your throttle to maintain the rotor RPM in the little green band on the dual tack. In general, you need to increase throttle whenever you raise the collective, and you have to decrease it when you lower the collective. However, the corrective throttle inputs are usually rather small. Also try listening to your helicopter. After a while you will know when RPM is getting high or low just by the sound of the engine. Alright, let's scoot over to the runway center line and let's take off. Dip the helicopter into forward flight with your cyclic and increase collective to not fly into the ground. As you increase your throttle and collective, the aircraft will yaw to the right a little more, so you need a little more left pedal input. That's what I call the power pedal. A very dynamic transition into forward flight. I'm liking it a lot. And have you just heard the sound of the slipstream hitting the fuselage coming in? A very nice sound design indeed. Climb power is massive. And you can see that Sedona Airport is located on a tabletop which is called a mesa in the southern United States and probably in Mexico. Now getting the S300 up to speed was quite hard in X-Plane 11. The Schweizer S300 was developed from the Hughes 269er, so this is actually a jazzed up version of the iconic Hughes aircraft. But it's not a fast helicopter. Its cruise speed is around 85 knots, so it's not very well suited for cross-country flights. Here I'm trying to fly faster. I'm raising the collective, which will lower my rotor RPM, so I have to increase the throttle. Even if it has the same engine as the Robertson R22, the Lycoming 0360, the Schweizer S300 is not limited on manifold pressure, but on the maximum amount of throttle. So when your throttle is all the way open, that's how fast you're going to go. So at this altitude, on this day, I'm going to top out at 80 knots, as it seems. As is typical of Hughes helicopters, the flight controls of the S300 are not hydraulically boosted. That means that you would hold your cyclic with your full hand. These red rocks or sandstone tabletop mountains are actually handcrafted by Xcoder, I think. Now you may notice that they look awesome from far away, yet they look rather strange once you're getting closer. Still, I think you're getting quite a good deal with Xcoder products. The airports are phenomenal, and you do get quite a bit of handcrafted scenery on top, even though the scenery itself doesn't look too good, in my opinion. Notice the animated yaw string on the canopy, which will show you whether or not the aircraft is in trim. Still no faster than 75 knots today. Oops. Lost a little bit of altitude. Nice blade slap sound coming in. I'm gonna head back to the airport and land this thing. See how the Schweizer behaves on approach and deceleration. So when you move your head, there is some panning going on in the soundscape. However, it's not that convincing, at least if you're listening on stereo headphones. If you turn or move your head inside a helicopter in real life, there's not going to be much difference in spatial hearing. It's just going to be loud, that's all. Still, it's a testament to the amount of detail of this simulation, even in the sound design. Let's fly one more circle and enjoy the scenery. So now for the approach phase, I'm going to lower the collective, which will lead to an overspeed unless I roll off the throttle. And you can see that the aircraft is still climbing even though I have reduced collective. Maybe I should reduce reduce throttle a little more. That is a low RPM warning. I'm struggling a little bit with the correct settings of the throttle and the collective. And now we are slowly descending. Rotor RPMs still seem to be a little bit high. I'm rolling off more throttle. And we'll enter the left downwind for runway 03. Okay, the descent phase is a little more tricky. Maybe a little bit more practice. It'll get easier, but yeah, the aircraft does not like to descend. If you want to know more about the S300, feel free to check out my more detailed review. The link is in the description. And as a little extra, you will also learn how to fly along the helicopter lanes in London with live VATSIM ATC. Let's turn left base. The airport has one helipad near the threshold of runway 03 and quite a few parking spots for helicopters where you can practice the landing skills. The 4 white lights that you can make out close to the threshold of the runway are called Precision Approach Path Indicators, or PAPI lights. They show you whether or not you are on the correct glide path to the runway. If you see 4 white lights, you are too high. If you see 4 reds, you are too low. If you see 2 red and 2 white lights, you're good to go. For deceleration, I pull back on the cyclic, reduce the collective and push in right pedal to maintain directional control. As I lower the collective, engine RPM get higher, so I have to reduce the throttle as well. And as we are coming out of ETL, the helicopter will drop, so I will have to increase the collective as well as the throttle at the same time and push in the left pedal, of course. I'm still trying to figure out how much I have to adjust the throttle or how much the correlator is actually helping me, but with a little practice I'm going to get there. Alright, we are back where we left off from. What is there to say about Dreamfoil's Schweizer S300 for X-Plane 12? It's an awesome simulation of this iconic aircraft. Visuals are amazing inside and out, sound design is terrific, and most importantly, the flight modeling is superb. The flight dynamics seem to be very realistic, and the aircraft is quite stable and docile in its handling characteristics, so pretty much how you would expect it to be, seeing as it is one of the world's most successful training helicopters, next to the Robinson R22, of course. The possibility of manually throttling the helicopter gives an extra dimension to your helicopter simulation and might spice things up for the more experienced sim pilots out there. I guess I'll fly this one quite a bit more in the next few days, and it is also great to hear that Dreamfoil is back and he's also working on updating his famous Bell 407 for the new XP platform, so maybe that's going to be a Christmas present that I'll give to myself. The descent and deceleration phase needs some practice on my part, but it'll improve after a few more hours on the S300. Keep in mind that it's a slow chopper, so not suitable for long stretches, but very nice for scenic flights. And even though updating the helicopter must have been quite some work, Dreamfoil offers a discount for owners of the XP11 models, which is very generous. I would have paid the full price any day though. I hope you enjoyed this little revisiting of the S300 by Dreamfoil. If you did, give me a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and be sure to let me know in the comments what you think of this update. Hope to see you around next time. Stay tuned and ta!